And we're live. Hello,
Hello.
everybody. Thanks for joining. We're going to be doing reading sprints for the Sunshine
Mhm.
Readathon. If you aren't aware, then you probably haven't seen the last three uploads I've been bombarding you with of all the Sunshine Readathon stuff in my Instagram. But this week, or today, starts off the Sunshine Readathon, all about spreading positivity, shouting out creators that you love, reading books that are like heartwarming, nostalgic, all the great stuff, tons of great stuff. But I wanted to tell you guys to enter the giveaways. There are 3 giveaways active right now in my announcement video. I have it linked in the description box. So make sure to check that out eventually. Maybe throw your hand at it. Not too many people have entered the Twitter giveaway just yet. So yeah, and we're just going to be doing reading sprints. We're going to try and get as much reading done today. But I have a lovely special guest. And Chanel, why don't you introduce yourself? And while people log in, I'll get to ask you some questions.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Chanel, and my channel is Chanel Time. I do like a bunch of different types of things. I do movie content, book stuff. Most of the things I do are like recommendations and like themed things. So, yeah, that's all about me and my content. Also, I post a lot of like polls and stuff on Instagram. So, check me out there.
Your
Chanel Time.
Instagram game is like on point. Every time I go into your
Thank
stories, you're always
you.
asking questions and giving recommendations. And I'm like, I don't know how to be this aesthetically pleasing on Instagram.
Yeah, it's hard because typically I'm not like a social media person, but I just love Instagram stories. Monty, oh my goodness, who is that? Is that a stranger? Nice
Total
to meet you
stranger.
too. It's Monty Price.
Yes. Hello, hello, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Hello.
I did want to ask, like, while people are logging in or whatever, what made you start BookTube? Like, what was the thing that
Mhm.
catapulted this whole experience?
Okay, so I, growing up, and I kind of talk about this often, I never really liked reading. Like, my mom bought me like a bunch of books, me and my like siblings a bunch of books when we were younger, and so we were like reading them or whatever, and I was like, okay, this is fine, but I don't really care about reading, like, kind of boring. And then when I was in high school, well, middle school, I read The Outsiders for the first time, and I was like, whoa, this is a good book. And then I was like, anyways, I'm bored again. So I didn't read until I got to like high school. And then I read Twilight, and I read the entire series in like a few days. And I was like,
So
anyways,
Twilight
this is
coincided.
boring. No, but the thing is, no, I had read Twilight and then I read the Maximum Ride series, like whatever was out. And then I just never read again until my last year of college. And
Mhm.
I was like, okay, because a couple years before that, I had discovered BookTube through Books and Lala and also A Clockwork Reader, so Hannah and Kayla. And I was like, whoa, there's a section of YouTube about books? What is this? What is this? And so that's kind of like what got me excited about BookTube and excited about starting a channel because I had like randomly joined. I think during the Asian Readathon, that was like my very first thing I participated. Literally like the week I joined, and then I like posted the video, and then I did like a readathon with Lala, and I was like, "Who is this? Like, what? Like, I was literally watching your videos like a few months ago. What?" And so that's kind of like what motivated me. So I would say what really like got me started is the friends, because like right off the bat, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I really like talking to people here. Like, I guess I'll keep making content." And it's funny that Erin is here because she was also one of my like very very first friends on
I like
BookTube.
the storm vibes you're giving off,
Yeah.
apparently, from the X-Men on BookTube. It's so funny.
Wow. Everyone's in danger. I'm just kidding.
Everyone's in danger. Don't touch her. Mm-mm.
But yeah, that's like my very long-winded answer. Hi, Sabrina. Oh my goodness.
Tons
Anyways.
of awesome people. Thanks everyone who's joining. I was just asking Chanel some questions.
Mhm.
Maybe let's start. Oh, Twilight is genuinely. Yes, I
Yeah.
feel like Twilight, everyone's done it. I haven't, but I feel like
Yeah.
most people have.
Most people have read it. I think it's one of those books that was like if you were in high school or middle school and you had access to a library, like it was shoved in your face. You know what I mean? Like it was literally everywhere. So
Love the chat. Love the chat.
fighting already with Monty and
Right,
Aaron. Love
right,
it.
right. Okay, maybe let's do our first sprint in like 5 minutes. Still give some people some time to log on and whatever. For some reason, I didn't think Twilight hit me as hard in my high school. Maybe it's because my high school was full of people who did not read, and the people who did were quiet about it. The only book I think that I read in a timely fashion was Divergent and Fault in Our Stars. I don't know why. I think it's because the movies came out and I wanted to like read them before the movies came out. But I don't know anybody. I feel like everyone from my high school read Twilight, but no one talked about it. Like,
yeah, I don't remember having that many people to talk to about books when I was in high school because I like didn't know anybody who was reading, and so I would spend a lot of my time at my local library. I would literally walk there from my school and just sit there for hours until they were like, "Hey, you're always here." And then I started volunteering there. It was wild. But I remember just like having no friends to talk about books with because all my friends didn't really read. So yeah, it was definitely like a very isolating activity, but I thought it was pretty fun when I read that series. But I don't know that I could read it again and enjoy it.
Well, I feel like you can enjoy it if you don't actually look at the writing. I feel like that's what always gets people. You can't look at the story. It's just like enjoy it for what it is at face value. Like, you know, when you read romance or whatever, it's just for the story, like to have fun, like all that stuff.
Yeah, because last year I tried to reread it and I literally made it like 40 pages and I was like, I think this should be a memory.
This should be a memory. Don't even try and just keep the positive vibes when you were younger.
Right. I'm like, this should be a memory. Let's move on.
Yeah,
definitely. I definitely think it's like a nostalgic, at least the movies as well. Like they're nostalgic for a lot of people and it makes sense, you know?
Yeah, we're like when you're young, or even if you're like a young adult, like in your 20s and you read that, it's like it's okay to have fun. So, like, I don't know, I feel like people take themselves really, really seriously. I'm like, nah, not me. I'll eventually probably
like, not I.
The Twilights.
Yeah.
But I love the question. What's everyone reading tonight? Chanel, what are you reading? What are you up to?
So this is a book I randomly saw at the library, and it's called Monogamy.
Ooh.
By Sue Miller. So the thing is like super shiny.
It's very shiny.
But it's about this woman who, I guess she's been like married for years, and she and her husband are like the golden couple. And then he dies, and then she finds out that he is like he's someone completely different from who she thought he was. And like they have kids and this like amazing, wonderful, perfect family. But then it's like after his death, she's like, wait a minute, I have no idea who I married. And I don't know, maybe the title is going to have something to do with it, but I'm interested. Because
sounds like this person monogamy, maybe they're not into monogamy. Like,
right. So I'm like super curious because I've never heard of this book or this author. So I'm excited to see what is going to happen.
Yeah. I'm excited to see for you. I'm going to be reading the kind of group buddy read for people who didn't have someone to buddy read with. So I'm reading Blackout. I'm going to try and read the first act today because it's in 5 acts. It's really interesting. I thought this was going to be like a normal anthology, but it looks like the stories are like kind of intertwined. So it's not just like one author, one story moved to the next one. It's like
it's kind of like one author is taking over a different piece of
like someone's narrative story in the book. So it's interesting. So I'm gonna read Act 1 today.
That's interesting.
And what is Battle of the Books? I'm trying to think.
Oh yeah, what is that?
Maybe I'm too new to booktube. Picking up Fire with Jenny. Ooh,
Bingo Love. Bingo Love is good.
Where was I?
Oh.
Obsession by Nora Roberts. The Taking of Jake Libenstein. Yes. I do too. I'm like halfway through it. I'm so bad at finishing things right now.
Are you liking it?
I'm liking it, but for some reason, like I'm just not in the mood for like, because the vibes it gives off is very like horror-esque for me, especially someone I don't even read thrillers normally.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm surprised that you were reading it because you're very contemporary focused.
I am, I'm like, I love contemporary so hard, but like I want to read it because it was interesting and I want to figure out the ending so bad, but it's just the vibe right now is not it. Queen of Nothing. Oh yeah, I saw your Instagram post today. It's very cool. Yeah. The Unspoken Name. Great. How long do we want this first sprint to be? I was thinking like 20 minutes.
That works for me.
Works for you? Cool. I'm gonna organize my books. Yeah, organizing your books.
Mm.
Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on the comments. So many interesting types. Yes, I agree. Oh, the Poet X. Yes, I can't believe I kept putting this off. I literally, that was the book that I finished today. That was my morning read, trying to power through one book at least today. And it's so amazing. If you have the audiobook for it, I highly recommend. Ooh, you're reading Sadie. Oh wait, I'm in the middle school teacher and we still do Battle of the Books. Okay, so it's like a school.
What is that? Oh.
I've never heard of that. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Battle of the Books is like a competitive reading trivia. It was a thing you did in your school. There'd be a list of books for the year in your school. Oh,
That is so cool.
Okay, maybe that's why we didn't read when we were in school, because I didn't have this at all.
Yeah, my school might have had this, but I was like very much anti-English class. Like,
me too.
I was like, why do I have to read this? I don't want to read this.
Don't make me read. And they're making you read, like, I was reading the hat shit and all this weird stuff. And I was like, I don't want this in my life. Okay, let's start our first sprint. So let's do our first 20-minute sprint. So we'll be reading to the 21-minute mark. To be very specific. Ooh. Okay, let's do it.
My reading glasses.
Your reading glasses? What a mood.
Yes. My blue light plus reading glasses.
I love them. Okay, happy reading, y'all. See you in 20 minutes. That's the sprint. How did everyone do? Also funny, did anyone notice I put the wrong time in? I put 10 minutes in at first and not the 20.
I definitely noticed because I was like, wait, why is it already over?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, that can't be right. And it wasn't. I was wrong. And that was silly, but it was really funny. I can't math, and I just proved that to everybody.
I was definitely going to pretend for you, but I'm glad.
Oh, that's 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. How much were you able to reach now?
I am at 16 pages,
yes.
So not much. Monty read 60.
60?
Never mind.
Let's see. Just finished a book. Yay. Only have 10 pages left in my book. Awesome. 57 to 64. 12 pages. Yes, managed to read 60 pages of a manga. Like, I'm trying to figure out the super.
Monty is just amazing.
Truly. I read 16 pages as well. I just got to the second chapter. Even though I know. Oh. 10 pages read. Yeah.
Adjust the camera.
Geek Gorilla sounds interesting. Geek Gorilla was such a fun book.
Oh.
So it's like 15. Everyone's doing great. I'm here for moral support, y'all.
Oh yeah, Sabrina's in a slump. Poor thing.
Oh no. Love the moral support. I'm so sorry about the reading slump. The text in my book's pretty big, and it's like, oh, okay. That makes sense. And also your superhuman abilities. That helps. 16 pages.
Right.
20 pages. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I got to 11. Love that for everybody.
Ooh.
Fabulous.
Water. Oh, it's right here.
Yep, water break. Hydrate.
Yeah, I was trying to find my water, and it was right here.
Okay, let me see. We'll probably do our next sprint in like 10 minutes. Take a little
Yes.
breather. Let me
know. What are you thinking of? Oh, sorry. Go on. No, go on.
No, you go.
No, I was just curious about what you were thinking about Blackout so far.
Oh my god. The first chapter was kind of funny. It like these two people that apparently like broke up recently got like an internship offered to them, and some issues arose, and then the power went out. So it was a fun first chapter, definitely. I'm interested to see how they're all gonna come together, if that makes sense. I also realized like how stunning the book is under the cover.
Is that like a special edition or just the regular?
I think this is the regular edition. I got this.
Oh wow!
I pre-ordered it from a bookstore, so I believe it's just the regular schmegular, and it's gorgeous.
Ooh.
Yep. I'm so excited because the next chapter is Nick Stone, and Nick Stone is like literally one of my favorite authors.
I've never read anything from Nick Stone.
You haven't?
Mm-mm.
Well, it makes sense. You don't really like contemporary all that much.
I think like Contemporary. I like when there's like a lot of deep discussions happening in them, but I literally just pick up everything. So
that makes sense.
maybe I'll
You
try
should
out a Nick
definitely
Stone.
check out Dear Martin and Dear Justice, both by Nick Stone. They're like my favorites because they talk about like being black, being a black male in particular, so in such a unique way. I highly recommend. And it's funny because it's like Nick talks about it, Nick Stone, because she's a mom of two black like sons. Her perspective is very interesting, and like the concern and how much care she took to talk about people's stories. It's so beautiful. Okay, and for the next sprint, we can do 30 minutes. I think that's good. Get into the flow of things. Let's see. Since Blackout isn't a standard anthology, I might actually pick it up. Yes, that's what I was thinking too. Because anthologies can be like so hit or miss, where you open a story and you're like, I didn't like that one at all.
Or when you read some of the stories in there and they're like 5 stars, and then some others are 1 star, and you finish, you're like, what do I rate this?
What do I do with this?
What do I rate this? I think I've only read 1 anthology, and I didn't go back to reading them because of that, because I was like,
That makes sense. I literally try not to buy anthologies anymore. I want Blackout. I can't wait to shake my hands like, yeah, I hope you do.
It's so pretty, right?
It's under the cover, pretty. But like this is also like the most iridescent, like shiny, glossy cover ever. I'm very impressed. Oh my gosh. Dear Martin was so good. I cried so hard. I cried so hard too. Like that book shakes me to my core. The first time I read it, I was like so angry and upset. It talks a lot about police brutality, and there's like trigger warnings for like police brutality and like murder and stuff. But it's handled in such a good way. Good as in like written well, and like it's still fun contemporary. We still follow this guy's story, but it talks about some serious stuff that he has to deal with in his life. It's just...
Are Dear Martin and Dear Justice like in the same? Are they like? I don't know.
They're like companion novels.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, is it in the same timeline, or because they have such similar titles?
Yeah, so Dear Martin follows the story of Justice when he's in his like senior year of high school, and he's writing letters to Martin Luther King, like about like life and like trying to figure himself out. Dear Justice is the flip side, where it's a dude who's in prison, and he's writing to Justice saying, we grew up in the same neighborhood, how come you're going to an Ivy League college and I'm about to go to prison? And it's about the two paths that are like possible for anybody from any neighborhood. It's really interesting, and that's why I say you should read both of them, because I think they're great companion novels, because I think Dear Martin talked a lot about privilege, and like because he went to a private high school and he was going to an Ivy League college, but people were still treating him like a thug. And then Dear Justice talks about how he had so little opportunities, no one trusted him. His dad was sent to prison from an early age. His mom thought he was a cheater and a thief, and how that perpetuated him into not believing in himself and kind of falling into the stereotype. So it's so interesting. I could talk about it for days. I apologize. It's one of my favorite books.
I mean, don't apologize. I think it's interesting when people talk about like their favorite books, because it's always really like that's what makes you want to read a book, when someone talks about their favorite book, because you're like, oh wow, I didn't hear about that, or I didn't think about it that way, you know?
I definitely agree. Like when people like, I love watching reading vlogs for that specific reason. I'm like, sell me this book, please. I wanna be in love with it just as much as you.
Yeah, you're like, make me read it.
Oh, I was going to ask you, what is one of your favorite books? And also in the chat, if you guys want to say what's one of your favorite books, I'd love either new recommendations or just old goodies. Like what would you say, or your current favorite? If you don't know, if you don't have like an all-time favorite.
Let me think. I'm gonna need a second to think about
No worries. And then people in the chat, let us know too. I'm so curious. I love book recommendations in general.
Well, very obviously, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Love that book. I definitely don't think it's for everyone. And it's ironic that I loved that book because it has so many things that I don't like in books. And then V.E. Schwab is like an author who's very much like more often a miss for me. So
yeah, did you like The Darker Shades of Magic?
I DNF'd that.
You DNF'd it? Okay.
Yeah, I tried reading the first book and I got like 20 pages in and I was like, I don't think this is for me. But then the Monsters of Verity duology is like was my obsession for the longest time.
Mm.
So I don't know, it's very all over the place. But I would say some of my favorite books. Well, contemporary wise, I'll Be the One by Lila Lee. That's like
Yes.
a it's so good. It's like this girl, this like plus size teenager who's trying to break into the K-pop music genre, and so she's like in this competition where she's like doing dancing and singing, but because she's plus size, they like there's no space for her in K-pop, so she's trying to create her own space and like do this competition. It's really great. I loved that book. Another one that I really liked recently, I finished reading Falling by what's the author's name? TJ something. It's like a thriller,
Oh, I haven't
kind
heard of it.
of. Let me look it up. TJ Newman. Okay, I was looking at my story graph. TJ Newman. I just read that. It's about this pilot who he has like a plane that he has to fly to New York or something, and in the midst of that, he finds out that his family is basically being held hostage, and he has to either crash the plane or his family's gonna die. Like it's one or the other, and it's just wild because there's so much I expected from that book. Like there's so much I didn't expect that I got, and I was feeling so emotional. My buddy read that with one of my friends, and we were like, "What is this?" The stakes were so high the whole time.
Wait, so
So
and it's a thriller, right? So it's just the
I would,
anticipation of what he chooses.
yeah, I think it's more. I don't know that I would. It's classified as a thriller, but I don't. It feels just very real life. Like it, I don't. I would say it's closest to a thriller, but it was just so heartbreaking. But at the same time, like, it's just one of those books. But it was amazing. So
That sounds really intense. I feel like I need to put that on like my TBR because it sounds like
yeah. The whole time I was reading this, my heart was literally racing. I was so scared the whole time I have not read a book that really got me the way this book got me in a really long time.
Like the twist, or just in general the vibe that it gave you, like
The whole book. The book doesn't even have a twist. That's the thing. Like there's like some parts that are surprising because okay, so the family's being held hostage by this man, but this man has like an insider that's part of the flight crew. So that's like a twist in there, but there's no like twist. And then you finish the book and you just like reflect on life and you're like, oh my God, I know nothing about existence. Like
I know nothing.
And the author is a flight attendant. And this is like a debut novel. And it just doesn't feel like a debut novel. Like I genuinely felt like I was on the plane. I was so scared.
Wait, what's the author's name? I'm sorry.
TJ Newman. I'm pretty sure this is a debut.
TJ. Falling,
yeah. It has like a plane that's like falling downwards. But I would say if you are somebody who is scared of planes and flying, maybe skip this one.
It's so funny because I have a fear of planes and falling, but I still want to read it.
It's so, man, I'm telling you, after I read that book, I was like, do I cry? Do I scream?
Do I cry?
Do I just sit here and question life? It's so good. It's so good. So yeah. Anyways, I would say those two for right now.
Oh my God, I love that.
Gilded Wolves is so good. Yes. Not many people like that book. I don't know why, but it's so good.
I've heard a lot of the it's too similar to Six of Crows, but it's like there's heist stories all over the place. So I don't know. I haven't read it. I want to read it.
Yeah, I feel like the only thing that's similar about Six of Crows and the Gilded Wolves is the heist, because the Gilded Wolves, I feel like, is so like, I can understand people liking both. I feel like the Gilded Wolves is just so interesting because there's a lot of culture that's involved in that book. Like the heist is basically about culture. Like if you love movies like Black Panther and you're like, Killmonger, I feel you, you will love the Gilded Wolves, because the whole time I was like, this is giving me Black Panther. Like I love it here. So
That's really cool. I love that. I love a book that's like really rich in culture because I feel like a lot of books are too scared to actually dive deep and like go into it. But it's like it adds detail and magic and stuff. And I think that's why so many people love like fantasy and sci-fi is because you can dive into the details of everything. And I think culture can really add like a nice layer to things. You don't have to be a part of that culture. You just have to like to experience the magic of it. But also someone said there's a Goodreads giveaway for Falling right now.
Yes.
So click on Goodreads and win a free copy.
Yes. Oh my goodness, you definitely need to. The Gilded Wolves is like, I don't, have you watched Unnatural History? Oh, it was this like TV show about like museums and stuff. But I'm like, anybody who loves museums, history, cultural artifacts, like the Gilded Wolves is gonna be perfect for you. Because
sounds nice.
It's just fantastic, yeah.
Good. Let's start our next sprint and maybe I don't know if there's any more comments. I guess we could start our next sprint now and do a 30-minute sprint, but let me try and actually math right. So that's the 15-minute mark. That's 30 minutes, right? Okay. Let's do our next minutes. Yo, I can't math. I get it from my mom. I blame her. Even though it's completely my fault. Okay. Happy reading, y'all. See you in 30. And that ends the sprint. How'd everybody do? Let's know in the comments. How's your book going? I didn't even ask last time. I forgot.
Oh, it's going interestingly. So the book, basically, the title is already making sense. So we're following this girl, this woman, and this man, and they've both been married before. She like got married at 23, then had like a really terrible marriage, and then like is single at like 29 or whatever. And she's like dating casually, doing her thing, and then she decides, oh, I want to, go for monogamy or whatever. And then she meets the dude who is her husband in this book. And then he was also previously married, but had an open relationship with his wife that she like had not agreed to. And then some stuff happened. And then so they got divorced. And so that's how like he and this woman kind of come together and like make a relationship. But I guess it seems like he has issues being faithful. So we're at the point where we're finding out that he is definitely cheating on his wife. So yeah. So I don't know what to expect, but the writing is definitely very like literary fiction. There's about to be some drama here type of vibe. So yeah.
But you're like intrigued, yeah?
Yeah. No.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I was like, you're enjoying it, right?
No, yeah, I'm intrigued because the characters seem so different. Because so the wife, like the woman, her name's Annie, and the guy's name is Graham or Graham, however you pronounce. I think it's Graham. But anyway, so Annie is like more of an introverted type. She's just like, oh, I'm just dating around or whatever. And then she meets this dude who's like super social, chatting, laughing all the time, like he's super flirty, whatever. And then we like get to his POV and he's like, yeah, I just like flirting with everybody. And I'm like, so I feel like there's gonna be some drama.
Sounds like he knows himself, which is so interesting.
Right, because he owns a bookstore too, and not only is he like, okay, I don't think this will kind of spoilers because it's literally like 20 pages in, but he's literally cheating on her with like their friends and his like, yeah, there are people in their friend circle who are also married. Like
now everyone's gonna know.
That's what I'm saying, like married friends and also his customers.
It's not
like, and then he's like, oh, I'm so anxious. What if she finds out and I lose it? I'm like,
then pick better partners to sleep with, man.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Like your friend group? That's so. I just feel like there's gonna be a lot of. This is definitely giving me the literary fiction where there's gonna be something that's gonna fall apart really quickly. So we'll see how it goes.
Yep, sounds like it's falling apart as we speak.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Monty over here with 95 pages.
Monty's power.
Superpower. 8 pages, new book started. Well, I'm glad you're liking it. I can't wait to like. I'm one of those people that if I'm not gonna read it, because I don't know if I'd read this particular book, I'm like, I want to know all the nitty-gritty details.
Oh, I will tell you the tea.
Please do. And I also, if he's cheating, I hope something bad happens to him. Like obviously, like if he learns like he shouldn't be in a marriage, like monogamy isn't his thing.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, because
but no cheating, please.
No, literally, because okay, so this is another thing that's I don't feel like it's spoilers because it's literally the first 20 pages. So if you're gonna read it, you'll literally find out like page 20. But also the fact that the open relationship he had with his wife that she didn't want to be involved in ended up in her getting pregnant. And that was and she was like, I didn't want this life. So now they have a kid who they're like not sure who the dad is, I guess. So yeah, and I'm like, I just don't know what I would do. And then she's like, are you kidding me? You're literally cheating on your current wife after everything we've been through? What? So yeah, if you like juicy tea, everyone, I guess maybe this book. I don't know. I'm only on page 25, so who knows?
It sounds really good so far.
Yeah, I know Monty's gonna be vlogging about it soon.
Mm-hmm. No real reading. Let us know if you guys have any questions.
Yes.
Spring Day, have fun, everybody. Yeah. I'm just catching up on the comments.
The
The love list live.
Aww.
So happy to hear your conversation. I felt like I
Oh,
had.
this is so cute.
That is so sweet, and I'm so glad. Yes, it's always really good to talk to people who get it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Monty's something else. Yep.
Monty is so funny. Like Monty is so funny. You'll be like, I can't stand this book. I hated it. There was so much gossip. Monty's like, you know what? That sounds like a good vlog idea.
Yes. Let me share all the tea for you. And Blackout is going good. I got to page 36, and this whole like second chapter was talking about two other people. So it seems like we're gonna be just talking about different like love stories, which I think was just like the premise is like 6 love stories in New York during this blackout. And we're just learning kind of the history of it. And I think in this second chapter, this guy is kind of exploring his sexuality a bit. Like he ends up going to, this isn't a spoiler, it's in the second, like it's his introduction, he's going to like a masquerade ball for men to kind of date. And I was like, this is so interesting because I feel like we talk about how difficult it is to like date if you're queer. So I kind of like that representation. It's very interesting. But I'm like also I want the stories to intersect, right? But it's like page 36, so I need to calm down. Okay. Someone asked, fave 2021 release. Oh, do I have
Ace of Spades, hands down. I think that was a 20. Yeah, it came out on June 1st, I think. Yeah. Ace of Spades. That was just so good.
The question for me is if I've even finished the 2021 release. I'll come back to you on that when I finish one. I really haven't. How do I get over a reading slump for a readathon? LOL. Oh, that's
Sabrina.
That's so hard. Honestly, for me, if I'm ever in a reading slump, what I do is I listen to my favorite audiobooks. Like this morning, I was in the mood to read this morning, really, or at least not physically. So I realized that Poet X was available on Libby, so I just downloaded the audiobook and like listened to it while I was cleaning and making breakfast. And the next thing I knew, I was finished with a book. So I don't know, pick a short, fun audiobook of a book you love already or are really interested in, and like go about your day. I don't know. That's what I would do. Do you have any advice, Chanel?
I used to like do manga and graphic novels, but I don't do that anymore because I don't know why it doesn't work for me that much anymore. But what I do now is I look up book recommendations, just like random book recommendations, and I just watch them because then that just gets me in an excited mood to read again. And then I'll do like the audiobook randomly, just like read whatever I have. But I definitely think that like watching recommendation videos gets me kickstarted on getting excited for reading.
Definitely. I watch so many productive vlogs before I actually like start my day and get productive. It's so funny. But it helps. It helps. And I also like I love mangas too. They are so good. Like I can understand maybe sometimes they're not like your mood, but I just read this fantastic manga called Prince Farah. In the first chapter, I was crying. I've never cried so quickly in a book. I fell in love with the character, and the author did me dirty, and I cried. And I highly recommend that if you need a manga that's like has political intrigue, a little bit of romance, but it's literally just for that first chapter, and then it disappears, and then it's all political intrigue. Countries are at war. It's great. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
Yes, Prince Farah. Sorry, I didn't read anything. By the way, I'm reading. Don't apologize for not reading. You are good. We'll probably start our next writ in a few minutes.
Monty.
Oh. It is on your side. Let's do it.
I can't wait to see what Monty thinks about that.
I can't wait either. It'd be interesting to see. That's interesting.
Ooh. The Poet X is so good. Like, it made me cry so much when I read it. I was like, whoa. Like, slow it down. I thought I was here for some poetry. Like, what's going on?
I know, right? It's so cool because I feel like people see that it's in like prose or like in like forget verse. If it's like open verse or in verse in general, and people are like have a total like different expectation when it's really just like a coming of age story that I feel like so many people can connect to. Rereading it again this morning, sobbing. Like it's one of those stories that I think so many people can relate to growing up and feeling isolated and alone and questioning like faith and questioning whether your passions or if you are worth anything, if you're valued. So good. Wait. Final.
Oh yeah, I haven't read that book, but I do have it.
I haven't heard of it. I'm going to start. Honey Girl. Ooh. And thriller Sadie. What's your favorite college romance audiobook? College romance audiobook.
This isn't like specifically romance, like the romance genre, but I really like Rent a Boyfriend by Gloria Chow. Both of the characters are in college, and it's a romance, but I don't know why it's categorized as young. I guess it is young adult because they're young adults, but they are definitely like they're colleges because like the guy is 21 and I think the girl is like 19, so that's something that has both, and college is a big part of it. So I would say like if you want something romance,
definitely. You can also check out her first book, American Panda, which is also really
good. Yeah,
it's so good. College romance, and that one's like super fluffy. I feel like Rent a Boyfriend is more grounded.
It's serious.
It's serious with identity and like whether you should chase your college passions. American Panda is like so fluffy, but it also deals with like worrying about your parents' expectations. But Gloria, chef's kiss. She's such a good author but it's definitely young adult. Yeah,
if you want something like simple too, like super simple, just easy and quick to read, I would say what is it called? Let's Talk About Love. That one's just like very simple, contemporary, and it's a quick read. It's like an alright book, but it's a quick read. So
if you love the overly romantic stuff, like definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know any other college romance books.
Yeah, me neither. I can't think of any other ones. I'm like, that's all I had.
I think the only adult romance that I read, no, I don't think they're in college. I just think they're like 26.
What book?
Maybe college.
What book is it?
I was thinking Along for the Ride by Mimi Grace. That one's an adult romance. Yeah, she's like just started her new job and she's thinking about like becoming an entrepreneur and stuff, and it's like a lot of her business aspects while having schmexy time with this really hot guy that she hates. So it's enemies to lovers, and they get stuck in a car ride together, and we kind of learn about their passions in life. So I think that's why I'm thinking college, because I'm like they talk a lot about career and things within the book. So he's good. Let's see. Got to go. It was great reading with you guys. Thanks for joining.
Oh, thanks for joining.
Any recs for someone who moved to college for the first time?
Loveless by Alice Oseman. Literally. Radio Silence by Alice Oseman. Yeah.
Those are great. I also would recommend Fangirl just because I think I think Fangirl and Loveless are really good kind of pairings. Loveless is a lot about exploring your like sexuality and all it talks a lot about that stuff, but I think Fangirl really talks about the isolation, depression, anxiety a lot. So I definitely would read those two. I need to read Radio Silence still. Definitely need to read that.
So good. I'm trying to think of what other ones I would recommend. I'm looking at my reading list.
I'm like looking at my bookshelf like,
I know. I'm like, because that's a really good question and a really good thing to like want a recommendation for. So hold on.
Yeah, I think the only two books that I have that are great for like your first year of college is Fangirl and Loveless.
Yeah.
Most other books are like
Um,
don't even talk about the college experience in like an authentic way, which
mhm,
is Fangirl and Loveless actually talk about it in an authentic
mhm,
way, where it's like you are alone. You have maybe one or two people that you know, and it's
mhm.
like, who do you trust? What do you do with your time, and all the complexities that come with it.
Yeah, this is one that I think might work if you like this author already, but maybe Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. I think that what that book discusses is kind of like failing in college and like kind of feeling like you don't really know what you're doing with yourself. So if you feel like that at any point, that's not a book that I specifically enjoyed, but I think that if you're looking for something that's like really just blunt about life, then that one. And I know Monty, that's like Monty's favorite book ever. So
So it comes highly recommended
yes, from Monty.
from Monty.
I'm
I
just
was
bringing
like,
it up.
you might like it. I don't know.
Yeah, because I still think like even if I don't enjoy a book, I always like to still recommend it if it's relevant to what someone might need. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, for
So,
sure. I feel that.
um,
I heard good things
ooh,
about the Campus series. Oh, I think I've heard this
campus.
one. Oh, I forgot who told me about it, but Off Campus. I forgot the author's name. I've seen
L. Kennedy. I just looked it up.
L. Kennedy. Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about that too. Yeah, I need to read
Oh,
it.
I've never heard of this. Monty's comment. I read too far ahead. My bad.
It's fine. How dare you read the comments? Okay, wait. So fantasy books are best read in the summer. Oh, that's
Ooh,
hard.
ooh, Caravel.
You like that series?
I loved that. I know a lot of people don't like it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's because they compare it. Well, some of the people compare it to the
Is
Night
it Night
Circus.
Circus? Ah, okay.
Yeah, but I think they're so different. Like the similarities are just like literally the circus, because
Mm-hmm.
Caravel is like very like magic focused. I don't know. Caravel, I really enjoyed the series. I thought it was good. The characters, the main characters, at some point, I was like, this is not what we're doing. But it's good and it's a very easy read. Like the whole series, you could finish in like a week very easily. So
Okay.
definitely that.
Okay. I don't. If I had to pick a fantasy, what? This is a very random, like kind of more sci-fi because it's space travel. But a duology that I love that no one really talks about is Carve the Mark by Veronica
No,
Roth.
I've never heard of that.
You never heard it? It's like my favorite duology. The romance in it is solid. There's space travel. There's magic. There's like a warring planet in this universe. Every planet is like their own power structure, and they kind of have a lot of political intrigue. They all have to kind of be nice to each other. But there's one planet that's split in half, and it's like north versus south, and both of the main characters come from opposite ends of the planet and they blame each other for why there's war and stuff. And the girl in it has like chronic pain, but because of that, when she touches people, it causes them like physical pain. So she can kill people left and right, and she kills people for a living. And her family abuses that because she's kind of like the princess. So they make her kill off people, and she scare people, and that's how they kind of keep their political power. And that it's interesting because the two characters end up kind of having a cheesy romance, but it also talks a lot about just really cool space travel and powers and political intrigue. So I definitely recommend Carve the Mark. It's a duology. I think it was really good.
I'm gonna add it to my TBR. Oh, another one I just thought of, Girls of Paper and Fire. I think that one was really easy to get into because I don't know, for reading in the summer, I always like to read stuff. Like if I'm not reading thrillers, then I like to read things that are like easy to read because I've suffered enough through the school year. So Girls of Paper and Fire is super cute. It's sapphic and it's really emotional, but in a way that doesn't really like pull you too much. Like it's just like the perfect balance and it's easy to read. The world building is easy to understand. So that one for sure.
Hey, I agree. I still haven't read the second one though. I feel so bad.
Me neither, because I kept waiting because I heard it was a trilogy. So I was like, I'm just gonna wait for everything to be out. So I think it's a trilogy. Yeah, so I could finish it because I just really liked the first book. So
I wonder if it's when it's gonna come out. Yes, Fangirls
Right.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yeah. Yep. I was like, that's Monty's book.
That is book club. Let's see. Hello, beautiful people.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, author.
the college off campus series.
Mm-hmm.
Carval was very good. Glad you agree. Yeah, it's nothing like the night circus. IDK why people would even compare.
Oh yeah, it's a festival. Sabrina's right. It's not even a circus. It's a festival that happens every year, and you get like an invite to it. It's literally like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Because you just wait for a ticket to show up if you're gonna get an invite, and then you just have to figure out this mystery. And the whole series, well, the first book is literally about how these two sisters get invited to the festival, and one of them gets kidnapped because she is the thing that people are trying to find for the entire festival. So it's like she's trying to save her sister and find her sister. And like, I mean, admittedly, I didn't like the main character in the first book, but I was like, I'm here. I'm here. How can we find her? And honestly, the tea in that series was Chef's Kiss. Like,
now I definitely want to read it. I've had it on my shelf forever, and I almost unhauled it. And I decided after reading the first few pages, like, there's some interest here. Like, I'm intrigued. I just haven't read it yet.
Oh, I will reread it with you whenever you're reading it. That's how much I enjoyed it.
Oh, I think I should get like all three and just go in one sitting. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I was gonna also say way later when you mentioned V.E. Schwab and The Dark Shade of Magic. It's funny because I didn't like the first book either. I actually think the first book is the weakest of the three, and I almost didn't continue the series. But the second book was the best. So I don't know if you ever want to do that. I say you can just skip and go straight to the. Don't wait.
Y'all heard it here.
I'm one of those people that I would skip because the first one was just basic in the fact that they had like hardship and they had this one thing to solve, and that one thing caused problems. And in the second book, they have to come back together and fix the problem. I love it.
Wow.
And I feel like that's like Lila Bard. It's because she shines in the second book.
Jess told me to skip the first book, so if you guys see me starting book 2, mind your business.
Mind your business. Well, because the first book wasn't that all exciting. Just read like the last few chapters so you have context and then go to the next one.
It's like, anyways, who are these people?
Oh my god, I'm a bad booktuber. It's fine. Someone got mad at me because I unhauled a second book of the series and I just kept the first book and I was like, it's a standalone. I don't know about this second book. And I unhauled it and they're like, how could you?
I do that with some books. Like there are some books that, and I'm very petty. Like if I have a book that the first cover is beautiful and we see book 2 and it's not giving, I'm not buying it. I will be reading it for free and that's a standalone on my shelf.
Exactly.
I'm so sorry. Like I'm just going to wait for the library or something. So.
Yeah, you shouldn't keep books on your shelf that you're not going to enjoy. Like.
Yeah. Like I will support this author. I will tell people I love this book. I'm reading the second one, but not on my shelf.
Not on my shelf. Oh my god, this book series has 20 plus books in it. That's so crazy. Mercedes Lancey's Vladimir series. I've never heard of it. Let me take a picture.
Is that a vampire?
I hope so. It says Vladimir. I immediately think vampire.
Right.
What to do with vampires? That'd be so funny. Maybe read the second one too. Yes. OMG, yes. Oh, Karen Slaughter. I just got this book too.
Yes, I have read one Karen Slaughter book, and it was Pretty Girls. That book, till this day, is probably the best thriller I've ever read. And I read it in 2019. It's been almost 2 years, and it is still giving.
Me too. I think I have one called like, oh shoot, I have it. It's in the corner. It's like a book I got for $1, and it looked interesting. I think I got it at Costco, and I definitely want to read it.
Costco has some good, like when you go there and they have thrillers on the table. Carol was giving Willy Wonka, especially when you see the fan art. Some of those hats. some of those hats are giving like
To give you Willy
you just
Wonka.
you have to look for Charlie because it's giving that.
So funny. Second book gave me a reading slump. Oh no. That's so sad. I'm so sorry. I didn't ever finish A Gathering of Shadows. Oh shoot, which one is that the second one?
Yeah, I
I
think
don't know
that's
any
it.
of the names of all of them. It's like I know the
Yeah,
second
because I
one I read.
remember Sabrina was reading it, and then all of a sudden she was like, I am stuck. And then she didn't read for like 6 months after that. And I was like, girl.
That's a hardcore reading slump. I also listened to the audiobooks. I don't know if that also helps people.
Oh,
I had them through my library, so I was able to just like marathon through the series and push through the first one. And the third one wasn't like my favorite. I thought it was a good conclusion. It took a little long, but the middle, Lila Bard shines. And I honestly like there's like a captain scene, like there's like actual piratey stuff happening. You know how she talks about being a pirate and whatnot, but I'm like, where is it? We finally saw it in the second book where she's being, doing stuff. And I think that's why I like it. So I can understand if you're not feeling that, you're gonna really struggle through the book. I liked it.
So
I also 4-star, just to clarify. It's like not the best. It's just like a
yeah,
fun
you're
ride.
like it's not perfect, but it was a good one.
Let's see. No. Oh, no vampires. Sorry. Lots of magic.
Valdemar.
Mm.
Oh, Valdemar?
That was my bad. I read Vladimir for some reason.
I read Vladimir too, and I even Googled Vladimir, and I was like, why is it not?
I love that for us. But I like that it has magic and swords and stuff. It still sounds really cool. I like how we both jumped to vampires, though. Pretty Girls is amazing. Best thriller, hands down. Okay, you guys have convinced me. I need to start reading more thriller. I honestly need to read a little less YA contemporary, probably, but will that happen soon? Probably not. Okay, maybe let's start our next reading sprint. Do you want to do another 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want this last reading sprint? One more after this? How are we feeling? Want to know.
I am good with whatever. Oh my god, what is going on here? I am good with whatever you think is best, because I don't know how long you want it to stay for live, but I'm good either way.
Okay, let us know in the chat if this should be the last one or if one more. But let's still start our 30-minute one, and just let me know in the chat how we're feeling, because I know it's about 2 hours. I'm just worried, honestly, that StreamYard. Yeah, it's gonna be about over 2 hours, but StreamYard's gonna eventually ask me to pay for how many hours I've been. Yeah, I think there's a 20-hour cap, and I've been doing a lot of live streams, so I feel like it's gonna hit me one day and be like, please
maybe we should have this be the last one, so that way you can save hours, because you have more sprints this week, right? Isn't it 20? Is it 20 hours a week?
It's 20 hours for the month.
And maybe to be safe.
But I feel like that's gonna happen no matter what. So I'm just preparing myself. But I don't want to limit the fun at all. So I'm just mentally preparing myself for it. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be a lot. I feel like it's gonna be $10 or something. So I'm like, watch my ads.
Okay, yeah, because the chat is saying that everyone wants to do another one. Oh my gosh, guys, are we that fun? Hey,
love it. I like how your hair. I love the color of the hair.
Upsetting me. Oh my goodness.
Why?
Okay. No, because it just keeps getting in my face, and I'm like, guys, if you see that, just look away.
Look away. No, I love it because it's just the part that's colored is the one that keeps coming.
Right.
Just
right. I'm like, hey.
Okay, I'm trying to math right now. 30 minutes. We're at 44.
So we could do it to 15 just to be
15,
safe.
Just to be safe. To math easily. Okay.
Wow, everyone's like, you could just open up a new email.
But it's not connected to my YouTube channel.
Yeah, Monty, we're here to stay. You can't get rid of us.
He's like, get out. Yeah.
Monty's like, my turn.
One more. Keep going. Definitely down for more. Last one. Some people are saying last one. One more. Make another account. I guess I can look into making another account. We'll see. But let's start our sprint and we'll come back and see how we're feeling. So let's go to the 15-minute mark. So happy reading, everybody. I'm getting a
I will be right back. Yeah, I'll be right back too.
That ends the reading sprint. How'd everyone do? I got so distracted towards the last end and was just on my phone.
Me too. I kept getting distracted. I feel like that's a sign.
That's a sign. I was trying to download a new audiobook, but my Wi-Fi is being crappy. Maybe because I'm using energy already.
Oh, maybe. What were you trying to download?
I have Raybear on Libro FM, I think is the app. So I was gonna try and listen to the audiobook because I really want to read the second book, but I don't. I read this a while ago, so I'm like, what am I? I need to reread it.
I get it.
Yeah, but it wouldn't download. Sad face.
What did you like about that book?
What did I like about it?
Mm-hmm.
Let me think. I feel like I really loved how the story took its time. Like, I just think I really like the pacing and the world building because the main character, the story is all about a girl who's basically born to kill this guy. She's a tool. And her mom doesn't even have a real name. She's just called the lady. She's some secretive, scary lady. And she grew up really kind of like oppressing her daughter in a sense of like not giving her any physical attention or attention period or praise. So when she grew up, she wanted it. So she's like, do I kill this guy because my mom says so? But she grew up also, besides being ignored by her, she grew up with this guy. It's just weird, like the world's really cool in the sense of how they pick their how I forget what they're called, but the people who run the country, there's like 11 of them. There's like a board of them, and there's the one king, and she, the main girl, joins them. But to join them, you have to grow up with them, and the prince has to pick you. So before knowing that she would eventually be asked to kill him, she entrusted him and begins to love him. And the story also talks a lot about platonic love, but you really see her growing up and her being manipulated and her trying to like it. I think this story just spends a really good amount of time in the world and understanding because they start to have this like telepathy between each other. They have like such a deep connection, and I really cared for the main character. I think that was the one part of the story that really got me. I cared for her and I want to know what happens, and the whole ending and how it wrapped up, I was like, I need to know what happens. What's going on? Are you gonna read it? Have you read it?
I had been reading it, and then I think I started reading it at a bad time because I could not for the life of me continue. So, but I'm planning on picking it up in the future. So we'll see. Hopefully I like it because I've heard so many good things. But I've been in like an anti-fantasy zone for some time. I haven't found a fantasy that's like kept me interested in so long. So that's my dilemma.
Literally me too. I feel the exact same way about fantasies and stuff. But I feel like the thing about Raybear is like if you give it the time, because I know how it ends, I think it's more exciting because it's a reread. But the first time reading it, it took like 100, 200 pages to get into it. And you don't have that sequel at the ready yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, you know what else is a good fantasy that I don't hear people talking about? I read the first book and immediately bought the next two because it was really good. And it has college life and stuff, but it's The Black Witch by is it Lori?
Oh.
Have you heard of it?
No, let me look this up. The Black Witch.
Because like I started reading it and halfway through I was like, I'm annotating this, y'all. Like I was like, shoo. It
by Lori Forrest?
By Lori Forrest, yeah. It's I think it'd be a really long series. It talks about like how religion and faith is used to manipulate people and oppress different groups of people. But this is a world where there's like I think werewolves and fae and a bunch of magical creatures, and they all have their own hierarchy and stuff. And they're all going to college to like get an education and get a job and stuff.
I've literally never heard of this book. I'm so shocked right now.
It was actually a really good read. I think some people gave it like a bad critique because it basically talks about oppression and things, but it doesn't have too many Black characters in it. So I think Just know that before going in. But the way Lori talks about oppression.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Renee. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm not even looking at the chat. My bad.
Oh,
but the
yeah,
way
no,
she
sorry,
talks about race is great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look into that.
I'm so excited. And then there was a chat of girls who we were talking about the Black Witch, and it's one of our like favorite series for fantasy just because of how it talks about everything. It's so real, and it gives you like the college. It's like as if Harry Potter. Like I don't know. I've watched the movies. I haven't read the books, but that sense of going to college and learning how the real world works is really interesting, and how you're manipulated to think a certain way. So top tier, how do you deconstruct everything you've been taught, especially when you're one of the people of privilege? I feel like this book is really about white privilege. It's like, I'm gonna burst your bubble while throwing in like demons and witches, and it's crazy.
It definitely sounds interesting. Monet's comment is so funny because that's, I think, something that I felt about, was it A Song of Rates and Ruin, where we were both like, we really hope this is going to become a romance. So maybe that's going to inspire me to read Ray Bear, because I really love books like that where somebody's like supposed to be your enemy and then they like decide not to kill you or something, but then it's like a friendship and it's like, I love you so much as a friend.
I think you're really gonna like it then, because that was one of the biggest things. Because I don't want to spoil anything, but one of the characters is Ace. They don't say they're Ace because I don't think they like.
Heard that.
Yeah, they don't like. They don't label themselves. A lot of the relationships in this book are very fluid, and they don't like marriage and stuff is like not a concept for them. They're literally a board of people who, you know, there are 11 of. I think there's 11 or 12 of them. They do whatever they want, basically. They're preparing to run a country. And one of the characters is Ace. And I feel like there's a lot of platonic relationship. There's a little bit of a romantic relationship on the side, but it is not the forefront of the plot. So I definitely think you'll like that.
It's like odd because I do love romance in books. Like I love it. I think it's great. I think where it misses sometimes for me is like in fantasies. Like I remember when I read The Monsters of Verity duology, my favorite part about that duology was like there was one moment of romance in the whole, in all 2 books. There was like, that was it. They were like, hey, and I was like, this is packed with action. I love it here. So
love that for you.
That's cool. Okay, then that makes me excited. Okay, that makes me excited.
It really, there's a romance, but it's like it's not the main plot of the story. There's a lot of platonic love, and like it's found family basically. I think that's like the trope name for it, is like they all kind of grow up together and learn to really appreciate and love each other. It's so sweet, and I care so much for them.
That sounds so cute. Oh my gosh.
It's cute, it's wholesome, but it's also a little twisted because I feel like the way the parents are manipulating the kids and not being honest about their belief system, because as a woman, or as not being the king, she's not supposed to give good ideas, and the prince realized how smart she is half the time, and it's like, hey, I know you have a better idea than what I have to handle the situation. What is it? And people would like, the people who are teaching them all the, because they're learning about how to, you know, strategy. They're taking classes and stuff, and the professors are like, you can't talk to the prince, and she's like over here like, I'm smarter than him. Can I give you my here's my
She's
answer?
like, excuse me. That's interesting. Yeah, no, that's interesting because that makes me want to read the book, because I've heard so many different things and everyone's always like, it's so good, so good. I'm like, okay, I'll read it.
Definitely, yeah. But I do think it's one of those stories that you learn to care for the character. Like, you have to give it time. And yeah, you have to be in a good mood for it, because I feel like if you pick it up and you want something really fast paced, I mean, it gets there eventually, but it builds. It's a slow build, I feel like. And it's the reward of finishing. I feel like you'll enjoy it, especially if you want like a platonic found family situation that also gets torn apart towards the end. It's like, it's so wholesome in the beginning, and then it's like, why'd you do this?
Is it
No,
a duology or a trilogy? Or like
that's a great
beyond?
question. I
No,
think it's going to be a trilogy, but I don't actually know. I was just after reading the first book requested the second one. I was like, can I have the second one too?
you're like, give it to me. Okay.
Check and read.
So right now, yeah, I'm looking online. It doesn't say what it is. It only says there's like two.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because you know how sometimes it'll say like trilogy or whatever when you look it up.
Yeah, it'll say like in a trilogy or one out of
Mhm.
three or whatever.
Yeah, I mean the on the author's website it says the second book says anticipated sequel, and I feel like duologies, like when the second book comes out, it says like ending or conclusion. So
Mhm.
it's probably gonna be more
Oh,
books.
yeah. She thinks it's gonna be a trilogy. I
Oh
think
yeah.
so too, just based on the size. But I also love this person comment. Yes, platonic love is
Oh
everything. Clearly, Ace. Yes.
yes. We'd love to see it. When I
Mhm.
first read it, I thought,
Force cultivating. Yes. But
oh.
actually ignore the politics and just love one another. Yes, I agree. Like it was definitely like a forced cultivation of like trying to make them
Mhm.
all think a certain way because it would be better for everyone. But it's like, what's better?
Mhm.
It's better for the people of privilege. Because the thing also about this world is there's split up countries and every representative on this like board is from each country. And
Mhm.
they decided like I don't know how many years ago, like hundreds of years ago, that this one specific country we're gonna take their kids and send them to the underworld to make sure they don't come out and wreak havoc. So they just be killing off their kids to kind of preserve the overall countries and keep peace, but not everyone's sacrificing their kids. You know what I mean? There's just
Yeah.
it's like how is this good for everyone? What's happening here? It was like mm, I don't want to spoil
That
it.
definitely sounds terrifying.
Definitely terrifying, 100%.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know. I hope it's going to be a trilogy, but it might be a duology. We'll find out together, I guess.
Or like everybody will know eventually.
Hmm. Oh, so I was thinking like that was our last sprint, right? Like how
Hmm.
we feeling? Yeah, we good?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, cool, cool.
It looks
Uh,
like the chat is ready too.
yeah, they're like, let us know if you have any more like questions that we can answer
Hmm.
before we wrap up in the next few minutes. I see Scott. Oh yes, I was telling you about Sky Hunter. No, I haven't read it and I have the audiobook for it and I need to read it. I literally was just thinking about that. When was I talking? I need to read it. I'm so hyped for it. And I love Mary Lou in general. So I'm like, I'm so upset that I haven't read it yet. And I know that
The
sequel
covers are
coming out.
so pretty.
The cover?
Yeah, the cover is so pretty. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
anything about this book except that it's science fiction, I think.
All I know is that this is the like one of the prettiest books I own.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous.
I'm like, Mary Lou went in on this. She was like, we are throwing all the money at the design, please.
Give me all the covers.
Yes,
All of them.
I want to read so many books. Oh my gosh.
Dude, there's too many books to read and too little time. That's the
Exactly.
thing.
Also, that I'm not in the mood half the time to read half of the books. Like when I'm in
Hmm.
the mood to read classics and I read a bunch of classics and then I'm like, I die out and I'm like, okay, what do I do next? And then I sit for a bit and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then I'm like, okay, why
Yep.
contemporary?
And you're just like lost and confused. You're like, what next? I don't know.
I don't know. Okay, so let's wrap up this live show. Thank you guys for joining. We are going to be, I'm going to have
Yes.
a live show I was supposed to say every week. There's a live show every day on my channel. And I've actually added another one. There's going to be 2 on Wednesday. So
Ooh.
yeah, hit that notification bell because we're doing lots of reading.
Yes.
Getting lots of reading done this week. And I'm very excited. Let's see. You should know I've been reading this week. Minus the. Did you not like
Oh,
the?
the Maidens was horrible. That's probably going to be like one of the worst books I've read this year. Like, I would say top 5 worst books. Like, I don't know if I've given out that many 1 stars this year, but it was so bad.
I'm
Like,
shocked And I'm so happy because I literally almost ordered it. I'm so happy you said that. So now I'm not gonna order it till I see your review of it to see like what's happening.
The thing is, even taste aside, like the slow burn, the like Greek mythology part, like those are things that some people like.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? In books. But where this book really is just disgusting is the plot twist. And that is where I feel like I am confused at how this book could garner anything lower than a 2-star read after the plot twist.
Oh
Because,
no.
but also I feel like people are not really talking about.
Yeah, I haven't heard anyone
The
spoil it or
spoiler.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's very bad. I'll tell you about it later if you want me
I was about
to.
to say,
But
please text me. I don't mind the spoiler because I wasn't even planning on
yeah,
reading it.
I don't want to say it on the live in case anyone is planning on reading it. But
Mm-hmm.
that is honestly maybe the worst spoiler I have ever read.
Oh,
in
I'm
my whole
sorry,
life.
but I can't wait
The
for that
worst.
the video. I can't wait to see what.
If I had enough energy, there would be a video. But I will be telling you, school is eating me up right now. So I will be
Yeah.
telling you exactly why. Anyways, if you have not yet read The Maidens, anyone in here, make sure you go and read the 1-star reviews wherever you can get them. Maybe there'll be some truth there because I think
Ooh.
that could have stayed in the drafts.
Yeah, I've only heard good things about it. That's so interesting.
Me too. Like me and Monet were so confused when we were reading it because we're like, okay, it's like okay, like it's an okay read so far. And then we get to the end and we're like even more confused. We were literally like, we do not understand at all why, like what. Anyways, yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh no. Okay. I can't wait to hear. But for everyone in the live show, let's thank you for joining. I'm back literally, I think the same time tomorrow, maybe an hour earlier. And yeah, just come back. We're hanging out. I'm doing daily vlogs. It's gonna be a fun time. Join if you want. Don't join if you don't want to. It's up to you. And then make sure to go check out Chanel if you haven't. I bet all of you are subscribed already, but just in case you aren't, you should. But yeah, I guess that's it. That's the end of the live show. Enter the giveaways, please, because I'd like to give away some books. Check out that video. It's in the description. But I will hopefully see some of you guys tomorrow again for the reading sprints. Bye, guys.
Goodbye.